Hi, I'm back. I wanted to continue with the um, healing when it comes to trauma and relationships. And I left off at, just it's important to talk about things with others, people that you trust, people that have similar, experiences. It helps, or somebody who knows and has learned. I'm a firm believer in really to understand something or somebody or what they're going through, you kind of have to experience it. But I also believe that that's not always true, especially if you have a certain, like, I really truly believe it is my core to be there to help people. Like, ever since I was a little girl, I learned, just looking back, I've learned to, I always knew how to help people. And I was always, children were always drawn to me, animals were always drawn to me. And, some people don't believe in this stuff, but, I'm naturally an empath, which means I can feel what others are feeling, especially if I'm connected to them. And it's not something I can control. It's just who I am. Um, and when I do that, I used to judge people. I have, in a negative way, I guess you can say. But now it's like I want to help people, especially those I love. I want to um, to help them, um, because I can feel it. I can feel what they're going through. Um, and that might scare people away, but it's just who I am. Like, I may not have experienced it, and I won't, because I've learned how to prevent myself from feeling it so much and owning it as my own. And that takes work for an empath to be able to do that. And you can ask any empath the same, it's the same for all of us. Whereas somebody who's more of a extrovert, a lot of times their emotions are expressed, in the way they treat others and things like that. Or, they don't hold and feel things like an empath does. So I've come a long way in that regard, and I've learned to take my personal experiences, getting back to relationships, um, and, not only using them in my own, if I were in a relationship, to help myself understand other people, and to help, um, I feel like I'm getting off subject, but to take from my experience, just like you do with most things. If you experience and you want to be a better person, you're going to take those bad experiences and use them, in your life to be a better person. And it's as simple as that, as far as explaining it. It may not always be simple in actually doing it, but that's, why you learn. That's what I did. I had no idea when, I got a divorce back in, what was it, 08, 2008, I think. Um, I didn't know where to start. To be honest with you, now I'm a counselor now, but, I started to get my associates in IT and to walk in my dad's footsteps. He's a master technician. And I took a Psych 101 class when I was getting, as an elective, because you don't need to know anything about psychology if you're going to do IT. And I was like, whoa, this is what I need to do. So I got my bachelor's in psychology, you know, and, that's where it all began. That's really the start of my healing, is when I started going to school, and I was a single mom and raising kids and learning about myself. And as I learned, um, the more I learned, the more I got healing from that, because I was able to apply what I learned to myself, if that makes sense. So, and don't get me wrong, I am a empath. I feel people, and to be honest with you, I'm such a seeker of justice too, but I kind of know, like, somebody, whether or not they're remorseful or not, just by their actions and their effort, and and um and I also believe, that we apply what we learn in our own life to become a better person, overall. So, just being able to be present in your relationship with somebody, and it could be any relationship, but we're talking about, a love, intimate relationship. That's mainly what I talk about in these videos. So, communication, and being able to talk to one another about things that are going on in your life. If something comes up and you have a discussion about a past relationship, that's an indicator that you want healing in that area. You want to find healing and get past that so that you can be present for your partner. And any partner, should realize that it doesn't always happen that way, and that's when resentment builds up. If you're not able to work through things, your pain from your past, and try to help one another, whatever it may be, then you might have to, like, take a step back and reevaluate, the relationship overall. Anybody who loves you wants to help you through things that you've experienced that are traumatic. They may want to help you, or they may not know how to. Those are two completely different things. It's not saying that they don't love you, it's just say they don't know what to do. But that's why it's important to talk these things out. And that's why, healing it to the best of your ability, not, jumping from one relationship to another, not playing mind games with one another, not, trying to one up. I mean, love is not a competition. It's so important to be able to trust, even if it's just a little bit of trust. And don't abuse somebody's trust in you either. Don't take them for granted. This is really talking about people who are working on bettering themselves, are done with the games, they're done with the manipulation, they've had experience it, whether they've done it to other people or they've experienced it from other people. They just want to stop the cycle and become a better person. And I said all that to say, when you heal from trauma, it's like I said in my first part of this video, the first part. It's just so important to be on a path of healing, and know that you're on your way to healing from different things that's happened in your life. That kind of gives you permission to be in a relationship, whether that looks like, friendships are super important because you want to build that foundation of trust. But you actually have to trust somebody. I mean, yeah, they say trust is earned, but it's a give and take. You give a little, you get a little. You give a little, you get a little, and you build on that. It's like building it up to, to whatever foundation your relationship looks like. So If someone gives you a little bit of trust, build on that and talk about things. Are so important. It's so important to communicate how you're feeling. If something your partner says hurts you, or maybe you misunderstood them, explain it to them. Let them know. Say, when you did this, it made me feel this way. It's good. It's in the way you communicate it as well. You don't want to say things like that when you're angry. And it's easier said than done, I know, because believe me, I've already been through it. Like I've said, I've already experienced it, so I know where I did wrong. I used to be an angry person, very, very angry person. Ask my kids. And that was all because of hurt, but I've grown from that. Now I know how to communicate properly. It took school, it took experience, but I learned, when you're talking about the way somebody makes you feel and you want to get it off your chest and you want to, heal from that, the first thing to do is recognize that it's going on and then communicating it. I feel this way when you do this. It's better than saying, you did this and projecting. It's just the way you communicate it. And then just working through those, building the trust, the foundation, the trust and communication are the two, for me, not for everybody, but I think most people can agree. Trust and communication is essential for a foundation of a friendship that may turn into a relationship. You have to trust people. You have to give them, you don't have to trust them. I didn't mean it that way, but it's important if you want any kind of relationship with them is to give them trust and then it works both ways. If somebody's trusting you and confiding in you, then you reciprocate, and it's harder. You could start out in small steps. It doesn't have to be, telling your whole life story right away, or the most, vulnerable parts of you. That might take time because you have to be able to trust them, trust that they're not going to go and tell other people, or trust them enough to not judge you, or, those are important. So anyway, I don't even think that was this topic. My heart just felt like talking about that. So that's what you get. But anyway, so, learning to work through your hurts and healing from them so that you can be present for the people that come in your life. So you can learn not to project. So you can learn not to, shut people off or to retract. If someone loves you, they want to help you through things. And that's just part of loving somebody. So anyway, I talked a lot. I'm getting tired to get up and go to work at 6 o'clock in the morning. So I'm gonna have to get off of here. And I hope that you have a good night. And I might do another video this week. Our podcast, or not. I don't think we're gonna do one until next week. So anyway, hope you have a good night.